some prominent Democratic members of Congress don't think that impeachment goes far enough. Take California Congresswoman Maxine Waters. She says that they should throw Trump in jail. She writes on Twitter, here we go. I'm calling on the GOP to stop Trump's filthy talk of whistleblowers being spies and using mob language implying they should be killed. Impeachment is not good enough for Trump. He needs to be imprisoned and placed in solitary confinement. Joining me right now is Florida Republican Congressman and House Judiciary member Greg Steube. Good to see you, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Wow. Can you do anything to slow this down there in the Judiciary Committee? Because I'm kind of stunned that Nancy Pelosi is launching this inquiry and issuing subpoenas despite never having gotten a vote in the House. Doesn't seem very democratic to me. Despite never having, she launched this whole thing before even having read the memo of the transcript. And then you got Adam Schiff, this news out tonight. It turns out that his staff got some kind of account of the whistleblowers filing before it was actually filed, which, as I said earlier, doesn't really feel like a whistleblower if you're not blowing the whistle, if you're coordinating somehow with the Democratic Party. Can you do anything right now to slow it down, to stop it there in Congress?
Yeah, well, it sounds like Adam Schiff was colluding with the whistleblower from the accounts that came out today. I'm not worried about slowing it down. The Democrats are going to move in the direction they want to move. What I'm worried about is us doing the right thing as a country. What exactly are you going to impeach the president on? Please explain to me in that transcript where the high crimes and misdemeanors were located. I didn't read anything in that transcript that gave me cause for concern to initiate an impeachment proceeding. And Nancy Pelosi had a press conference before the actual transcript was even public. So obviously the Democrats will stop at nothing to impeach this president. They've been talking about it since the president's gotten elected, since before the president's got elected. And, a couple of days ago, Hillary Clinton kind of tipped her hat. She called Trump an illegitimate president. And I think that's what Democrats have believed all along, and they'll stop at nothing to impeach him.
Yeah, well, this news is just coming into us right now. I've been looking down, trying to pull this up for you, and I want to share it. Apparently, the fired prosecutor who's been at the center of this whole Ukraine controversy told the president's personal attorney, that would be Rudy Giuliani, who was on earlier this evening with Lou Dobbs, that he was told to back off an investigation into the natural gas firm that was linked, of course, to Joe Biden's son. Now, this particular prosecutor had a history of corruption surrounding him, but nonetheless, he apparently told Rudy Giuliani that he was told by that administration to back off, to not be investigating that particular firm. How do you react to that?
Biden himself, in a TV interview, bragged about the fact that he had 6 hours left, and if they didn't fire that prosecutor, that he wasn't going to send billions of dollars, American tax dollars, to the Ukraine. So I think there's certainly enough there to investigate. I think the president certainly has the authority and the interests of the Americans to ensure that if there was corruption on behalf of American officials and the way that the Ukrainian assistance went, that should be investigated, and the Ukrainian president has every right to investigate that.
Mm-hmm. So does this backfire for them? I mean, look, if they wanted to take a play out of history, they would have seen how this affected the Republican Party, of course, with Bill Clinton. But apparently people have very the ability to forget, right? Their memories are not that good, because they might have thought twice about it, and instead they're barreling forward.
Well, I think the American people are a lot smarter than the Democrats give them credit for. First, it started off with the Russian collusion, Mueller investigation, $35 million, all these witnesses and subpoenas and attorneys, and that amounted to absolutely nothing. Even Mueller himself said there was no evidence of collusion. So then they moved the narrative to obstruction of justice. That didn't work out for him. Then it was corruption, that Trump was having people stay at his hotels. And then we moved from that to this whistleblower incident. So, again, the Democrats will stop at nothing to impeach this president. They're just trying to find something. This is definitely,
the Mueller stuff was pretty bad, I guess, along the way, but it feels like it's been ratcheted up, and there's this desperation. I wonder how much pressure Nancy Pelosi was getting from the squad. What do you think?
Well, certainly she was getting pressure, because before the transcript was even out or the complaint from the whistleblower was even out, she stood up and had a press conference and announced she was doing an impeachment inquiry, which is something that she was reluctant to do. Interesting enough, though, she wouldn't put it for a full vote on the House floor. So then they had 6 different committees who have been investigating this president since January of this year, continuing to investigate the president on things that I just don't think, if you read that transcript, I encourage the American people to read it. I don't see anything in there that's high crimes and misdemeanors that is an impeachable offense.
Well, the other layer to this is we have learned that the Attorney General, William Barr, had asked the president to help assist in terms of making sure that they could follow through on some of the investigative issues from 2016. Of course, they're trying to figure out why you had that whole Mueller thing to begin with, right? And why, an innocent American who just happened to work on the Trump campaign, had a FISA warrant taken out on him. So there are a lot of things that needed to get answered, and the president had been asked to make an introduction in some cases. We've also learned that Secretary of State Mike Pompeo was on the call, which seems like a normal thing, especially given that the Ukraine president was a new one. Anyway, they're making a big deal out of everything. We'll see where it goes. Congressman Steube, I appreciate your time tonight. Thank you.